Hello. When you've been promised something at Christmas, your little child. I hope you've got over this now. But you know how you get promised something and you get all excited that it's coming, and you're counting the days to Christmas, and then it turns up and you're not really quite sure what it is anymore. You know you like it. You know you want to use it. You know it's really cool, but you don't make sense of it. Well, that pretty much sums up the way I'm feeling at the moment because I have on my Mac Studio here the new version of Fairlight Live from Blackmagic. And from everything I've read and listened to, it sounds really cool. But I can't get it to work. But when you can't get something to work and it almost works, that's where I am. And that's probably why I'm more excited than I should be about this. Maybe I should ask Mike to come on the stage and explain to me this company called Fairlight, because Fairlight wasn't owned by Blackmagic until some little while ago. They acquired Fairlight. And this looks to me like the integration between the Fairlight company and Blackmagic Design is coming to fruition. So, Mike, welcome to the show. And do you have a little short history lesson for us for how Fairlight and Blackmagic became all one organization?
Hi, everybody. Welcome. So when it comes to Blackmagic and it comes to Fairlight, they were acquired. Fairlight was acquired, and I would have to double check the year, but this was definitely pre-COVID, definitely pre-A10 Mini. So that was definitely one of the it was an acquired. I'm trying to think here. The way that Blackmagic acquired them because they wanted to improve themselves in audio. So Fairlight has been around for years officially, but never to this degree, and never as its own separate app. Now that you could actually download to Mac and Windows. I'm not sure if it works on Linux right now. I'd have to double check that. But when it comes to doing your actual audio, as long as you're using the Blackmagic gear, now this is the way that it's been marketed, but I do have a little more tidbit on this, which is that the marketing is that, yes, we want you to use Fairlight Live, but we want to make sure that you're using it in conjunction with our ATEM hardware. Well, I did actually see one of the Blackmagic marketing people actually tell an influencer that I follow that it's not necessarily that you need Blackmagic's ATEM hardware to actually use the software, but it actually will utilize anything on your PC or Mac. It will control its audio as well. So it's basically taking over for your basic mixer within your PC, Mac, etc., so that you could actually take into consideration all the different features that Fairlight Live has.
Thanks for that. Okay, so let's, as you say, it came in before COVID. Fairlight is, I suppose the word's embedded, is it? Shall we say? It's embedded into the back of ATEM, the ATEM Mini, ATEM Pro, ATEM Extremes, for instance. I think it's in the back of most of the ATEM family, all the way up to Constellations and everything. Is that right? Is that where it is?
Yeah, correct. Again, it is the audio system of all the ATEM switchers. That's the easiest way of putting it. It's been there for many different revisions of the ATEM hardware. Basically, once Fairlight actually acquired the company itself, it actually started to integrate it into their next chips. So basically, this is the Fairlight software, audio software is actually built into their hardware. So now this is them going into the software world of, okay, we've got all this functionality in our hardware chip. Now we're bringing that into the software world. And now we're giving that capability to not only our hardware, but to any other audio gear that you may have in your PC that you want to have Fairlight capabilities. And that's very high level.
Okay, well, I think high level is where we have to stay for most of this, Mike, because it's beta, it's announced, because NAB is the only time, we've said before, it's the only real good time of a year to launch these sort of things in that world, in the production broadcast world. So they like to announce things even if they can't ship them for 6 months or whatever. But yes, I've got the software loaded, and to answer one of your questions, because I did a bit of research myself, it's available on Windows, on Mac, and on Windows. I forgot what term is now. That new type of chip. ARM, that's it. It's on Windows ARM as well, but it's not on Linux at present. But the fact it's on ARM may open the opportunity to Linux. But so the way I see it as a sort of programmer, techno developer guy, is it's as if they've taken as you say, they've taken this company, this fantastic audio company, they've absorbed it into BlackMagic, and they've put the expertise of that technology on a chip, or chips, we don't know, but anyhow, it was in the electronics of the ATEM range of machines. So if you go from your ATEM control, your software control, where you click on one tab and it's got all the cameras, you can click on another tab and it gives you all the audio, and that is audio for all the cameras, and then audio for the mics that are separate to the cameras, and then you can change the audio levels and play around with the audio levels, all those, and it's happening in the machine. So what I understand now is they said, okay, what we've got now, we've got an ecosystem of all these different ATEMs all over the place with all their built-in sound chips from this fantastic Fairlight technology they've got. And now it seems to me that what they said is, ooh, we've got this 2110 out now, so we're building this new ecosystem. Maybe we need to take the Fairlight and now put it back into its own dedicated box so it can talk to everything. And what we've got today is the software first, and hence the box is on its way. And this, what I'm not confident about at the moment, even though I've played around with it for about 4 hours today and reinstalled it a couple of times because I thought I broke it. What I'm not sure yet is whether the software, and I think this is the way it is, the software has to have the audio come into it. Whereas I had this sort of feeling maybe that the Fairlight software would control the audio controls inside the different ATEMs. So I could turn the volume up and down on a particular item and it would work on the ATEM. I don't think that's true. I don't think it does that. But yeah, I have plugged in various bits and bobs here, and I can, although I'm told it's not supposed to work yet, but in the ATEM software control, there's some presets. And according to the material on marketing, you've only got the TV, the G2. You don't have the MEs supported. But when you go to the profiles in the software, there are more devices supported. It says it supports many of the ATEM ISOs. So I've plugged in my ATEM ISO Extreme, and I seem to have some inputs, but I haven't got them working. I also took the second connection of my Rode 2. I had to make sure it's the Podcaster 2, because that has 2 USB interfaces. I'm talking into you. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm talking into you from that. Then it's coming in through the Rode into this computer, for those that want to know. But there is a USB from this machine I'm on, which is the Mac Mini, to the Rode. But the Rode's got a second USB. So I plugged the second USB into my Mac Studio. And again, if I go to the audio sources, I can see inputs for Rode Unify. Now, I haven't been able to get it to work either. I'm not an audio man. I'm not understanding all this buses and things. You know, to me, buses are things that take you from one place to another, not audio. So I'm not really into that yet, but I'm sure I'll get there. But what I have noticed is that, yes, I have those seen as inputs. So there is some talking going on between I assume, as it's calling it, the Unify, I'm assuming it's seeing, as you say, it's seeing that Unify is loaded on that particular Mac, and therefore it's an audio source, and therefore it's picking it up and it's going through to the system. Personally, I have a problem with my audio. And I'm sure lots of you have problems with audio, because a lot of you have probably done the same thing as me. You've bought a Rode or similar input device. You maybe have 3 or 4 inputs because you think you're going to do multi-person podcasting and things like that. And then you get a switcher of some sort. And then you've got the problem, how do you integrate your switcher? Now, Rode have tried to build their own ecosystem now because they have a video input device, and they now have brought out what I would call a headless version of that, which is supposed to integrate with the Rode units. Elgato are trying to go along the same way. But the question is, for all of us, I suppose, do we go with a sound-based device manufacturer who's added cameras? Or do we go with a camera-based manufacturer with a video switcher, like BlackMagic, for instance, and then connect all our audio into them? And I think the answer is we'll probably know next year, because a lot of this has happened in the last few months. In Rode's case, it's been, a month ago, they announced a few products. BlackMagic have just announced a beta, so they don't really have the products yet. So unless you really need an audio capture device, I would be thinking that this is a time to sit on the fence and watch all the running around that's happening about you to decide. But I do like the idea of having a common interface from which I could control all my audio devices. What I'm concerned about is now how I get the sound from here into an audio device and then into some sort of video switcher, or, as BlackMagic have now suggested, a audio switcher which works with the video switchers. And what really starts to tempt me to go in their direction, Mike, is the fact that this is also something that will work post-production with DaVinci Resolve. So they're integrating it at the post-production level as well as the live level. Right. And I can't do that, even though I think, some of the stuff from Rode and the other guys is brilliant. I just happen to have chosen Rode. But I'm not going to tell you off for doing one of the others. They are still... They're still at that level of small video productions, 3 or 4 cameras, a bit of audio, and there's still a big gulf. Even with some of the new ones at NAB, there's still a big gulf between what they do and then when you get to the next level where all the big guys come in, and they have much more complicated systems. But there's still a big gap there between them. But there are productions that I am working on where I start to think that can we put them politely, the prosumer equipment may not be good enough, and maybe I need to get that famous credit card, which is currently buried in the garden, out to go to the next level of production. What do you, because you're effectively a manufacturer in a way, you're a distributor and manufacturer, you've got your own cameras. What's your sort of take on this new idea of, a live separate video and audio production system in the loop? Does does it get you excited, or are you just sitting there with a wry smile on your face waiting to see what happens next?
Well, when it comes to the Fairlight stuff, let me clear up some of the what's been happening during the beta and what their plans are once this actually fully runs out, when they fully come out of beta, and also the capabilities of being able to do it within their actual hardware, which is coming soon. So when it comes to let's talk about their hardware first. So basically the hardware itself is basically the hardware version of the Fairlight Live software in the PC or Mac. It still needs the PC or Mac to run the software, because all it is basically a MIDI interface.
I did hear a hint that they will have a dedicated device for running this.
Yes, but that's
No, I don't mean a controller. I don't mean a controller. I mean, they're thinking of actually having a physical device that will run this, so you won't have to install it on a particular machine.
Right. Right now, their focus is to actually bring it in as a software. And by the way, Fairlight Live is free software, so you could download it, and it will be, from what I'm hearing, once it's actually released out of beta, it will also be free. So it will be equivalent to the free version of DaVinci Resolve.
Yep.
Okay, so that's important that everybody understands that. That's what I've learned. The second thing that I've learned is that, again, when it comes to their control interfaces, if you are that type of person that likes the tactile way of controlling your audio, because again, they're trying to target the markets of a lot of our people that are actually watching us today, because right now they know that everybody is using, like John is, external audio gear being brought into the ATEM, and then you're not actually really using Fairlight in the ATEM. A lot of the processing you're doing is actually on in John's case, on his Rode Podcaster Pro 2.
Yeah.
If I did that right, John. Yeah. So that's the model. So when it comes to that model, John should be either doing it in the Rode, which again, because of the microphone that he's using with us today, the SM7B, he should, because the Rode actually has a special SM7B profile built into it. So where Fairlight is not there as of yet. So again, John should be doing all his processing in the Rode Podcaster Pro 2 for the SM7B to bring that into the ATEM.
Yep. And I don't use any audio from my cameras at present. I only ever use my cameras for video, whereas a lot of more professional level people will be bringing in audios from their cameras, wouldn't they? Where they would be having microphones around on their cameras and bringing professional sound into their cameras, and then they could bring that in through the ATEM and into their systems.
It really depends. In most of the prosumer, well, in the prosumer world, they probably would actually bring in the audio from the cameras, but in the professional world, they would not. It's not normal that a very professional camera will actually have a physical audio source coming from it, because that's not their job. The camera is a camera. It's not a microphone. So chances are, if the camera has a microphone on it, then it is, in the professional world, they would leave the broadcast world, the pros will leave it alone, because as far as they're concerned, it's a prosumer camera, and that's not something they want to touch. But having said that, it depends on what content they're shooting, right? So if it's over the shoulder or such like that, or ENG type stuff where they're doing interviews, then yes, they want to have the capability of bringing that audio into that interface, into that camera, and then bringing that potentially back down the SDI or HDMI into the Blackmagic video switcher. So yes, that's where they would then bring up that audio as a potential audio source, which they could actually then, because it's already in Fairlight, because again, if anybody takes away anything from our show today, is that Fairlight has been there ever since you bought that A10 Mini, A10 Mini Pro, Constellation, insert here, models. So if you bought their models, ideally, safest I could say without knowing the actual date when Fairlight was bought by BlackMagic, let's just say it this way. If you've bought a machine from BlackMagic that is a video switcher, either a Constellation or one of their mini products, 100% the audio in the background, you using it or not, has Fairlight.
Yep.
Either, and in most cases, depending on your model, will either be the basic functionality or the full functionality. That's the easiest way to say that, John.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So how do you understand the way it controls, if you got the software, how it controls the devices? Because there does seem to be a bit of mixed messages maybe on how it can talk to these devices, or as it does, or does it always have to be physically connected to those devices, which I'm going to guess that's not going to be the long-term aim. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense, because you couldn't have a studio with 5 2MEs in a stack and then have to have a USB plugging every single one into the machine. So there must be some future system. Do you have any idea of what that is? Or
what I'm hearing is that right now it is, again, I don't know their future plans, and we're not a distributor of BlackMagic, but again, this is just through the research that I've been looking into, is that the potential goal of them, and I don't think they've necessarily released this yet, but the potential goal for them is to be able to control, using the network interfaces of the ATEMs, to be able to control audio over the network. Have they said that yet? No, would be my official answer.
But I've heard some hints around that.
Yeah, I have too. So that's as far as John and I should go when it comes to that. But right now, the functionality that they are pushing right now during their initial beta, and you got to remember, this has only really been out for a little over a week, is that you need to make sure that your ATEM's firmware are fully up to date. And there have been new patches for it all the way down to our ATEM Mini Pros. So if you do have an ATEM Mini Pro, you should be looking at BlackMagic's website to make sure that you have your latest firmware. I have done so. I've been running their firmware now. It will be officially, as of today, 1 week. So, and no issues. I had to do a little audio tweaking. Now, again, this is where I found it was interesting, is that the audio tweaking that I needed to get done, they've actually improved some of the capabilities in the A10 Mini Pro that I'm using right now when I'm talking to you, that I actually had to reduce some of my volume capabilities in the Fairlight software. So that was impressive to me, that they've improved, let's say, the audio algorithms within the actual chips to improve it. So they're tweaking their own hardware. And again, I'm not using right now Fairlight Live to control the audio. I'm still having it being controlled within the actual A10 Mini Pro. But the software, the firmware right now, if I flick a switch in their software control, I believe, I'm just trying to make sure that, in their ATEM setup software, then I can actually turn my ATEM Mini Pro into actually a USB audio interface. And again, this is with or without using Fairlight Live. So if you do have an A10 Mini Pro that you want to be able to bring in audio from it and not necessarily use the video portion of it, and you're not necessarily utilizing the USB for any particular reason, even though in my case, I totally am, because I'm bringing it in and Zoom seeing it. But if you were not, it gives you another capability of your USB port on your ATEM Mini Pros, your ATEM Extreme ISOs. So if you have an Extreme ISO and you don't know what to do with that second port, now you do, because you can officially now just use it by itself as a USB audio interface, and also for Zoom. So it's your choice. You could actually have both USB ports come in, and Fairlight Live could control one of it, and in theory, Zoom could control the other one. I haven't tried it myself, but that's for the ATEM Extreme ISO and other people, like somebody pointing to himself there, for him to play with and let us know. But there is that potential as well, because again, a lot of people wanted the second USB port so you can plug in a USB drive so you can record your ISOs to it. But this, again, BlackMagic being smart and knowing what their hardware can do, now they've actually said, oh yeah, we can compete against, the people out there that actually want to just use us for a USB audio interface. We don't know why you'd want to, but we're giving you that capability as well.
Yes, but as I understand it, because I just double checked on the settings, which is what confused me. It says the USB connection uses webcam output or uses digital audio. So I can only do one or the other.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Again, I
got two plugs on mine. So why can't I have one of each?
I think you can, John, is what I'm telling you.
But it doesn't give me the option.
Oh, it doesn't in ATEM setup?
In the ATEM software I've got installed, and I'm pretty sure it's the latest, because when I started up this morning, I just got bombarded with update this, update that. USB connection says uses webcam or digital output. Doesn't give me a choice of doing it for one device or the other. I either globally have to change it for both, and if I do, I'll disappear because I'm plugged into it. So that was another thing I was a bit confused by. And I started to wonder if I've got the right software, if I updated everything or whatever. But maybe that's one of the reasons why it's not working properly for me when I'm trying to play with it at the moment. I mean, we're going slightly into the reads here, but you need to be, I think the rule we've got so far is you need to be physically connected to the ATEM software to do anything at the moment. That's what we're saying, really, isn't it?
Basically, the impression that I've been given right now is that if you're talking about the Fairlight Live software, it needs to talk to the ATEM. If we're just doing this basic stuff, it needs to talk to the ATEM over the USB port. Now, again, there are certain models, which means that certain chips in those models will not have that capability. So do keep that in mind. So as Johnny just appeared on us and is coming back, he just made a quick configuration over there. All right. What'd you do, John?
I was just having a look to see what's plugged into what. So the Fairlight's plugged into USB-A and the camera's running off USB-B at the moment, which I think is the wrong way around. I can never remember. But I know USB-A is what I plug my... Oh, I don't know if I do now. When I'm doing video recording, do I go into A or B? I don't know. We don't know a lot of things here. This is what I'm saying. It's like having a present, and you're so excited to play with it, you don't read the instruction manual. Mind you, I come from a time. In my defense, I come from a time when Japanese were making electronics better than everybody else. That was the good news. The bad news was they weren't very good at translating their instruction manuals into English, and therefore I've grown up with the feeling that instruction manuals are never readable, and playing with it's better. Maybe I rushed myself a little bit here. Sorry, BlackMagic. I should have read the manual a bit better. But yeah, I'm still, it's not put me off. I'm still excited, and I'm still excited for you, great audience. And Mike, I still think it's probably, on reflection, turning out to be the most interesting thing for me and the sort of world that I work in, from NAB. None of the cameras got me that excited. The switchers were all either trying to catch up with BlackMagic, or in BlackMagic's case, going all 2110. So there wasn't really anything there. But this audio device and the whole concept of being able to control your audio from one place, as we've all invested oodles of money in Stream Decks because we just want the control of all our devices from one place, for somebody to come along and say, here's an audio device that will be able to control all the audio, I'm immediately thinking, okay, I'll just send all my audio straight and level into this system. I only need a few interfaces. I was actually playing around with Zoom ISO 3, which would allow me to bring in from the cloud audio sources from a Zoom. Seeing if I haven't got it recognized yet, but that's another world. So that means I could then bring remote guests in through Zoom and then bring them into the A10 world through Fairlight. That sounds to me like a really cool thing. And I'm going to have to say his name 3 times sometime soon. Maybe I'll give him a week or 2 yet to calm down. But Andy, you're on notice. We want to know how we can get our audio as well as our video from the Zoom world into this world. And then, of course, we're going to want to put it back afterwards. But this is, this is really cool. Even the LUFS meter, all our audio friends will be happy to know that I can see a YouTube LUFS meter, so I can get my audio right for going back to YouTube. Wonderful. I like this product, and I just now just want to know how to connect it to everything. Really, that's frankly what it is. And this will probably influence now. This will probably influence now even more what video switcher we get next. I'm not short of video switches, as you know. For those that don't know, I have an A10 Mini, an A10 Pro, and an A10 Pro Extreme. So I've got the whole family. I've persuaded myself not to get the G2 so far, although it does have some features I could do with. I can do without them in my present setup. I also have a license for vMix, which is my fancy layouts type product when I want to do really more complicated layouts. So I'm using that at present. And I love vMix, but look, I love so many of these manufacturers. If I had a Roland-based system or a completely Rode-based system or a Gato-based system, I think I would still be pretty happy. But
yes,
I know.
Yes. You should be.
You know, they're all good. Listen, and even some of the the other companies that have come from Asia with names that I can't always pronounce properly, OZ or OC or whatever they are. You know, but even those are good products now. I mean, these video chips are at a point where they can mass produce them. And I did notice one of the BlackMagic guys saying quite openly, "Look, let's face it, we make our money up to selling our basic ATEM range of machines." This SMTP 2110 is a, well, I'm putting words into his mouth now, but he was effectively saying, this is some fantastic, broadcast tool that we're really proud of, and we spend lots of money, but we do know that it's losing us money at the moment. It's costing us, all this money, because he said, it's the basic as in probably not just the ATEM minis and pros, but the ATEM 2MEs, 4MEs, etc. But that is their bread and butter. That's where they get all their sales. That's where their volume is, and that's where their money is. They're just trying to open up a new market. And in doing that, I assume somebody said, "Oh, excuse me, does anyone know how we can get Fairlight connected into this world? Because we do need some audio." And now, of course, they've just come up with this amazing thing. And if you were to hypnotize a BlackMagic techie, you could probably find out that they've got a pretty good idea of what they're doing next year and the year after. This is long-term, slow burn company building. And I just think that this, again, this makes me think that, as I said, I think they're all great products, but I would more likely, very likely, stick to the BlackMagic range. Now I'm in it. Now I'm in that ecosystem, because I
Right.
know how frustrating it is just to plug in, a BlackMagic into a Rode Podcaster 2. I mean, that's a pain in itself. And I tend to now look at the big boys, and I look at the bottom level thing that they have, and I think, do I want to start with this? Would this do what I want it to do? Will it support what I need? Will it look after my simple world? But am I not learning how the big boys do it because I'm using the entry level of the big boys toys? And they all tell us how they're all dedicated devices, but we know they've got computer chips in the background, running it. Solaris was a name mentioned by BlackMagic as their back-end system. It's amazing what you pick up in these little throwaway comments from BlackMagic staff. And we do the same thing to other manufacturers as well. So thanks for those slip-ups, guys. They're always enlightening. Sometimes it's not what the presentation is. It's just one sentence that we pick up that we find. And that's why we like all these influencers bombarding all these people with these ridiculous questions, don't we, Mike? Because you just never know what they might uncover.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. And then, this is, again, right now, because the information is so scarce, especially about our topic today, which is Fairlight Live, that, people are trying in our world, of small to medium size events that are not broadcast size events, and already have invested time and money into learning the craft, shall we call it, of BlackMagic, going, okay, Fairlight. Yes. Oh, I have Fairlight. Did I know that? Probably not. And they know that. And BlackMagic knows that. But now, shall we call it, from the infamous broadcast world or the production world, the spotlight is now on Fairlight Live. To do what? To bring in your audio sources in one form or another to your ATEM production gear in one form or another. So they're either controlling the ATEM audio now, they're offloading the controls. They're not offloading the brain, they're offloading the controls. Because the biggest problem that they've been hearing from the industry is that, well, I can't use your audio because I'm not going to be running into the ATEM software all the time to be tweaking, raising it up and down the audio there. I need something physical. See where I'm going with this now? I need something physical that I can control the audio as if I was controlling an analog audio mixing board.
Yeah.
And
I don't want lag.
What's that, John?
I don't want lag. I don't want to take it from the device, then have to bring it all the way into my computer and then process it and then send it back, because I'm going to start producing lag. I'm going to start losing frames. I noticed that some of the other people that are upgrading all their sound-based devices have been talking about what they can, and Elgato did this as well as an example, but I'm pretty sure that other people have mentioned it as well, because in my head I'm thinking of another couple. But they are still trying to get their audio processed in the device, and only in a minor point do they want to bring it to a PC for more advanced processing and then going back. They are always constantly trying to do it in device, because in device is little lag, a lag so small that it might be just a frame or so. And that level of lag is not enough that anybody but the purists will catch.
Right. And on top of that too, John, you're 100% right. So again, when it comes to a lot of the Fairlight Live functionality that is currently in the ATEMs, you just don't know a lot of it's there. Even though it's been there for, as I said, for sure, I can be 100% in saying this, is that from COVID on, if you've bought a BlackMagic model, it's had Fairlight Live in it. Has it had all the capabilities? If you've looked at the capabilities of the Fairlight Live software, has it had all those capabilities in there? For the most part, yes. There might be some that are software based, but majority of the functionality in Fairlight Live is in the chip. Now, if it wasn't in there before too, and the chip does have the capability, this could be now why I had to modify my audio settings in the A10 Mini Pro, because they might have added some of the brand new software functionality that they now figured out that, oh yeah, people like that. Okay. Can we put those are they in the chips? Oh, they are. Okay. Well, then let's enable them. Heaven forbid, they might have been hiding all this time in the actual models itself. So again, or maybe they never even thought of including those in the beginning and went, yeah, okay, why not? It's in there. It's this, that. All we just need everybody to do is to upgrade their firmware on their ATEMs. And now Magic of Television, now you have all these additional functionality. We might not have it necessarily in the actual software control part of the software, as John's looking, or that scenario, but we want you to utilize it now in Fairlight Live.
Well, what I was looking at is this very simple option. When you first start it, you build everything by shows, which again that's what the big boys do. And that's what we need as well. So you can define a show, and then you can define a template for a show. So everything in that template is going to be laid out how you want for that particular show. And then if you do a different show with different sets of microphones and different inputs and different levels and different people, you can preset that as well. This is proper professional stuff. And frankly, even if you're at the lower level that I am, the prosumer level, you do different events, and it's a pain if you have to reset everything. So in vMix, I save all those settings. In Fairlight, I can save all the audio settings. And I was going to give you a little rundown of the list of new show options they have. So they've got new show options for the ATEM ISO Extreme, the ATEM 4ME Constellation, 10 Mono, Mini Pro, Constellation 4K, 8K, TV Studio, HDR, SDR, Mini Extreme, TV Studio, SDI Pro and Mini, 5 Mono 2 Stereo, 16 Mono 4 Stereo, ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So that list is already longer than the list that they have in the marketing, because they didn't mention anything except, oh, the G2's there as well. I didn't mention the G2, but the G2 is there. I know because I saw it. There it is. Yeah. So in the marketing, they only mentioned the ATEM Mini Extreme G2. But in this new show setup, we have versions for, I think, pretty much all the A10 minis. So we've already gone beyond what they said from the start.
Majority of the machines are included, from my understanding. When you get into the Constellation models, the only ones that right now, and John, you would have to double check for me on that, is the Constellation HD models versus the Constellation 4K models. That was sort of a bit of a description. So
I've got the Constellation 4K, ME 4K listed.
You got
I also have the 4K HD Plus listed as well as a separate entry.
Mm-hmm. Any Constellation HD ones?
No.
No. Okay. That was something that was mentioned at NAB. One of the influencers actually was able to get that out of the BlackMagic person, and that was related to those models not specifically having, not that they didn't have Fairlight, but there's something in the capabilities of the Constellation HD audio chips without us knowing what is actually the magic going on in the background. It feels like the version of the Fairlight audio hardware, let's go even more generic, is not capable with Fairlight Live. Does that mean it doesn't have Fairlight? No. It does. It's just that whatever additional capabilities that Fairlight Live needs within the actual physical hardware, it's not going to be able to talk to it.
Yeah, I can't find the basic A10 Mini. I can only see the A10 Mini Pro.
Correct.
So again, that's probably that was, of course, that was also the first one brought out, and there's no reason why they shouldn't have upgraded the chip and improved the Fairlight for the next versions, the Pro, and that would, as you say, that would write it out of the system because it's a little bit too old. They haven't got all the facilities in it. So
it almost feels like, John, that they are actually going after and again, something else that needs to be double checked. Again, we're doing a lot of, blue skying because we're not in BlackMagic's brain. We don't have BlackMagic right in front of us. Go tell us. We are basically saying that, and again, it's starting to look as well to make sure that our little caveat, John, that we were talking about earlier of networking, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You do have an A10 Mini. It does have Ethernet, or it doesn't. I'm trying to remember the old basic A10. Something's telling me no, but because it doesn't have an encoder in it. But that doesn't mean.
I think it does. Would you like an actual answer? Shall I go and check the back? I'm pretty sure that I've got I've got the Pro plugged in downstairs. If the one I've got plugged in downstairs is a Mini, it's got a network cable in it.
Okay,
but I know what you mean. It hasn't. The electronics isn't as good. It hasn't got the encoder. There is definitely less electronics in the Mini to the Pro. There's a sizable difference in the functionality and the processing inside it.
Right.
Much bigger. There's a much bigger jump between the Mini and the Pro than the Pro to the Extreme. The Extreme's more adding stuff, isn't it, rather than adding more electronics. It's more going from 4 to 8 and those sort of situations and recording and things.
Right. Yeah. So basically, once they made the A10 Mini, then they went, oh, you want an encoder built in. That's where the A10 Mini Pro came in. Yeah. And then they all of a sudden gave us the extra buttons too for multi-view from the A10 Mini to that. Then they went, oh, okay, you guys want a bigger A10 Mini Pro. Okay, so now we got the A10 Extreme model. So it's the A10 Mini Extreme, meaning the Extreme in the regards of it's not Pro anymore, where Pro is 4, Extreme is 8, right? And then they went, oh, okay, now we want these in rack mountable units, and now they're going back to their Constellation type models where they had the big guys that were like 16 channel, 32 channel, 64 channel. And now they're going, oh, you smaller guys want something in between that. And that's when they brought out the Constellation baby-ish models a couple of years ago, where that was the scenario of, now we're in the, okay, you now have a choice of your A10 Mini as a desk unit, or now you have to go to the Constellation model, which is all their rack mounted units, but will give you the same capabilities, but the Constellation don't have encoders in. So
but they do overlap somewhat now in price, don't they? So the G2 is nearly up to $2,000, and you can, for $2,000 you can get a 1ME or you're into that world. So
yeah,
for those people saying why isn't there a 4K version of A10 Minis? I would say if you look at the product range, it looks pretty obvious to me. There's no reason to have a 4K version of those, because if you had a 4K version, you'd be on the next range of machines, really.
Yeah. The only one that I'm hearing in the industry that everybody wants is an actual A10 Extreme ISO STI model, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the only one that is missing right now. is that there's not an 8-channel SDI model. Try to remember if I'm right or not.
No, there's a ISO. No, what there isn't. It's the G2 is only in one flavor. So the new version, the G2, isn't available
Right,
ISO.
G2 is only HDMI, not SDI model of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so that would be the ultimate. If people are looking at the G2 and going, I like it. It's one of those, do I go from what John has right now, which is G1 to a G2?
I would go
Is there
2ME.
enough? Right. And
If
that's
I was going to
where
get
a lot of
anything,
people are doing.
yeah. If I had the money and I had the need and I couldn't make do with what I've got, I would get a 2ME, especially if a 2ME can use Fairlight.
Yes.
And the reason I say 2ME is because I want SuperSource.
Right. Right.
Because
so
to
you want to
me,
be able to have the capabilities of the equivalent, at least of what you have in the extreme.
Yeah.
But now you've got the additional capabilities of what the Constellation unit 2ME will do for you.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd have a 2ME SDI. That would be an easy decision to make today. I don't need one. And I'd rather wait to see what I might need in the bigger world. But that's what I would get. At the moment, I can probably run a reasonably large theatre style event if I needed to. I've got enough switches that I could cope with the presentation, the recording of the presentation, a couple of screens up, being able to control what's on those screens, whether it's a presentation or not. I already do that. Recently, I've only been recording and not going live, but I got enough other equipment that if the venue was suitable, we could go live and I could stream and I could do all the other things. And that's before I even roll in my vMix to do some extra graphics and do some clever stuff. But what's the nice about the BlackMagics is if you've just got some simple, basic, like your fantastic stingers that you use, if you've got some simple graphics that you want to do and layouts, then you can do it inside the box. And quite frankly, at my age, I don't do a lot of events for other people because I don't want to keep lugging all the stuff around. My little Fiat 500 can't take it, and I'm too old to carry them either. So if it can't go in one crate that I can carry on my own, it's pretty much, no thank you. I'll do all my presentations from here. But even here, even in my humble, I call it humble, it's quite an enormous space I've got here. In my enormous space I've got here, I've still got enough room. And I might tease you. I've got enough room to do some quite impressive things here, and I'm working on them for May. So we can, we've got a button for it. We remember that. I can, got this large area here. I have, I could do the music for you on my piano. And I've got a large enough space with lights and multiple cameras that I could do a multi-person thing here, and I can flip cameras, and I've got some LCD screens for backdrops and backgrounds and graphics. And as you know, if you've watched regularly, I am working on the world of 2.5D. So I want to bring, I don't want to go completely 3D because that's ridiculously expensive, complicated, and really beyond my planning. But I would like to go 2.5D, where you put in virtual additions, augmented reality for online presentation, maybe. It's another way of thinking of it. And because of that, I'm going to have guests who could be here, they could be online, they could be pre-recorded. Something like the Fairlight makes me think, now I've got the possibility of a dedicated system to run my audio for me, but it works with the other kit I've already got. And yes, this is why BlackMagic is successful, because it sells us entry-level boxes and it brings us into their ecosystem. And it's then very hard for us to switch to another manufacturer, because the interoperability is not good. I mean, everything in the world seems to be able to be controlled by buttons and stream decks, but that's not the same as plugging them together and getting the video signal straight across. And some people have to go bury things into networks for NDI, and other people are running HDMI cables that are longer than Mike would like us to use. Sorry, that's me. And then everybody else is then running SDI for that interim distance and wondering how they're ever going to get into this 2110 world. But very few organizations will have a clean slate and will just turn up with $20,000 worth of kit from nowhere. Most of us start with one device for video. Maybe it's got audio built into it, or we get one device for audio and add a camera, and we grow our systems over time, which is good for manufacturers. But I think that's why BlackMagic are very consciously just giving this path that we can work within, Mike, and offering the interoperability between other systems it's a two-way street. I mean, you connect to them, they can connect to you. So there's two ways, but you've got to be honest and brave as an organization, as a company, to offer the connections to the outside world. Otherwise, you're a black box. But big broadcast guys don't like that. They want to be able to say, look, I don't know what, I can't think of it. I'm a Mackie or a Pro Sonos guy, and I want this equipment to connect to my cameras, and I want it. If you don't have the ability to connect to everything else and you make a closed system, you will never get the big guys. And the big guys it takes it might take 100 of us normal people, consumer end, to justify what the broadcast guys are going to write off in one check, as I think they said, didn't they? At one of the presentations. We know at the lower end, you guys just get your cards out, and that's it. You spent your money. But the broadcast area, it's going to take production, it's going to take marketing, it's going to take accounting. They all sit together, have a conference, argue about whether it's possible, and then they've got to write a purchase order off, and then they've got to get it all delivered and all set up, and it's just a completely different deal process, deal cycle. At the lower level, you like it, you buy it. Maybe we should take a bit more time sometimes, because we do sometimes buy and regret. But
impulsive buying, John? Who does that? Hold on, let's see if he puts his hand up. Oh, nope, not yet.
You wait till you see. You wait till you see my new toy that I bought. It's not been delivered yet. You wait till you see what new toy I've got.
Terrible.
It's going to be the most stupid purchase of my life.
Yeah. See, he tells everybody that the credit card is actually buried in the backyard.
It is. I didn't need the credit card for this. It's a very. It didn't need a credit card. This one. It was.
Didn't need a credit card. Look at us. No. Look at all the teasers he's giving us. Everybody.
It was a petty cash purchase. Very petty.
Yes.
Petty cash. Sorry. Do you have the term petty cash in outside the UK? Does it exist as a term?
We do in Canada. I'm not sure if our friends in the US use petty cash anymore, but that used to be, the receptionist or the assistant to the owner of the company would actually have a little box hidden somewhere, and probably in a little baby safe somewhere. And, you need some petty cash, do you? Hold on. All right, here you go.
Exactly. But you don't even need your petty cash to buy Fairlight, because it's free.
That's true. And the capabilities of it are only going to grow, because again, we see if any of you are using DaVinci Resolve, you already know what they've done with DaVinci Resolve, even for free. Never mind the pro version. Let's talk even just about the free version, how much they're giving away in DaVinci Resolve alone. And I know the majority of influencers out there will use just regular non-pro version of DaVinci Resolve to get you a lot of results that you are seeing on YouTube or any other major platform, YouTube, Vimeo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when they put up their content and they're using the DaVinci Resolve. It's kind of hard to use something else now, especially if you're in the Blackmagic world, because they made it that easy where you make sure you have a hard drive hooked up to your ATEM Mini Pro and you record it, especially if you've got the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and you record it to that hard drive or any of their ISO products for that matter. Let's be specific on that. So if you've got any of their ISO products, you hook up a USB hard drive to that product, you record it there. They've given you all the files, all the individual video feeds, all the individual audio feeds even. So now you can do what you like, how you like, where you like in DaVinci Resolve to make that product, perfect. I actually was watching a very popular drummer friend of mine that was actually one of his latest videos that he put up today. What is sitting beside him? An ATEM Mini Pro. And he had 4 cameras hooked up showing his drum set. And I could tell without a doubt in his mind, well, he wasn't switching live, but magically the cameras were switching in the actual YouTube video. So we all know, boys and girls, that he brought it into something. So he definitely probably brought it into DaVinci Resolve. Would be, without actually knowing his full workflow, I wouldn't surprise me. Let's put it that way. But he, again, 4 cameras and 4 different angles. And now he was performing one of his latest songs. And yes, he's a very popular drummer, boys and girls. So yes, even the ATEM Mini Pro is functional for him and his workflow. And chances are, without a doubt, if he's already in the Blackmagic world, he's not that smart. He's not that silly of a person to go, yeah, maybe I should use Adobe. No. You would want to bring it into a DaVinci Resolve type product. So where do I see Fairlight Live going with this? To wrap this up a little bit, John, in a bow is more the specific of, they're targeting if you're already using audio and you're already bringing the audio into the ATEM, that the Fairlight could be that extra audio for you, extra audio controller, meaning that they're not going to be able to go out right now to control other audio mixers like John's Rode mixer. But trust me, how scary could that be that they could actually say, oh yeah, if you got the Rode plugged into one of the USB ports of the ATEM, maybe we should interface with that since all you guys are using it. And we'll make sure that Fairlight actually can go into the Rode, read all the Rode's capabilities, and bring it into Fairlight, and then put the Fairlight touch to it. You did ask, John?
Yeah, I did ask ChatGPT what interfacing possibilities there are on my Rode to find out what I could get out of it to control externally. In other words, was it possible that controls could be to my Stream Deck? Well, I know there are some controls, but it doesn't allow the in-depth control that I would want to get to the Stream Deck or to write an interface, because Blackmagic always release APIs, don't they? They always release APIs for people who want to integrate software, etc.
Yep.
So yeah, I had a look at that. It's a catch for these other people that are trying to chase where Blackmagic has gone and bring out other similar products. They're in a catch-22 in a way, because if they provide lots of interface features, then we can just use that to absorb them into the ATEM Blackmagic world. But if they don't, and we can't control their device the way we control other devices, then we're less likely to buy their product. They're very much stuck now, aren't they? In do you give up and give away all your access with the promise of better interoperability, or do you just keep it limited because you're too afraid to handle that over to somebody else?
Right.
Somebody's still got to give the power to the microphone to bring it into some electronics.
Right. And again, with Fairlight Live, they could eventually build in a lot of the secret sauce that Rode put into their podcast unit. It's just software after all. That Rode is running some software on the firmware. It's built into the chips, yes, 100%. Yeah. But what's stopping them potentially building some of that into, especially the G2 unit, because it already has XLR capabilities for John to actually put his SM7B that he's got in there right now, or even my Elgato microphone that I've got in front of me, into the G2 unit. And then the G2 unit becomes that much more popular now because of the fact that now, if they've gone down the same road as Rode did, which is because all they are is they basically have taken the secret sauce of, we know what this microphone can do. Now we're just matching it with what our audio mixer can do, right? So they're bringing both worlds in together. Well, what's stopping BlackMagic from doing that? Nothing. Rode did it. John's not using a Rode microphone. Yes, they did it with their Rode microphones, 100%. But John's not using a Rode microphone. John's using a Shure microphone. Did they know better to make sure that Shure was capable of doing it? 100%. Because they know how popular that microphone is. So this is cracking open that door for BlackMagic right now to actually get into the audio world. And it's going to get to the point where in the other target markets that they're also going after too are churches. They see that market using the Fairlight controllers. So again, if you're getting into, if your church already is using DAWs, digital audio workstations, Fairlight Live could eventually be your next DAW to choose. And if that is where they're going with this, then it could get very, very scary, because the Fairlight capabilities right now are without any plugins. And I'm being very caveat, making sure that I say that without any plugins is quite a powerful engine.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are plugins already available within its ecosystem.
There you go. So yeah, if they're already going after allowing you to bring in your Waves plugins and such like that, that you would already bring into a different DAW that you're already using already, this is making the DAW a little more user friendly. Yes, you'll say Fairlight Live, oh my goodness, there's a lot of buttons and this. Yes, there is. But if you've been in DAW software before, digital audio workstation software before, you know that there's going to be all these buttons there too.
Yeah,
it's
the same idea, isn't it? It's the same basic configuration, but it is clever. Maybe we'll come back to this when we get to a more stable version, a version that I can actually control once I've got it all plugged up and linked up.
Yeah, and then we can share your screen a little more, and then you'll watch Johnny break his audio on purpose. Then all of a sudden, John, we can't hear you. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, or I turn it to audio mode and my video disappears. Yeah, that's also possible.
Oh yeah. All kinds of wonderful things can happen on the production. What are we again, Johnny?
It's production day.
Yes, it is production.
Although the singer never seems to sound like he's saying professional. I don't know what he's saying, possible or something, but it's that's what you get when you hire Suno to do your songs for you.
Yeah. Production Pro Power Hour.
Yeah.
You got to get used to our name. But yes, definitely check us out again every week, because you never know what Johnny and I are going to be up to, breaking all kinds of wonderful audio and video stuff for all our production pros out there.
Yeah, we'll break it so you don't need to. That could be my catchphrase.
100%. Yes, it's better for us to break it live in front of you so that you don't break it live when you're getting paid to do it.
So thank you for your time today, Mike. And thank you for watching, listening, and seeing the recording. As Mike would tell you, don't forget to subscribe and like, so Zoom knows that we are wonderful. YouTube knows we're wonderful. And all those manufacturers who say they might be coming to join us will actually give me a date on a Friday, noon Eastern. I think we will look at something more interesting. And by the way, don't you think my hair light's working well today? Give me my little glow.
Oh.
You see, that's what happens when you have the light on and the daylight coming through the hatch. You see, that's the advantage of the summer. I get an extra hair light provided by God. So thank you, Your Holiness God. That's very kind of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have got the right closing music in, I'm sure.
I can confirm.
Thank you. That's good. Running multiple shows does get a bit complicated. And yes, we'll have a show on how to run shows soon as well. I'm working on that. Well, happy May to everybody. We are officially now in May.
Yeah.
That probably means we are now in weather spring as well as calendar spring. We're in proper spring now. So my flowers outside now have official recognition to come out, and they need to, because I've had a couple of bees wandering around today, wondering what's going on. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And join Johnny and I on May the 4th. Again.
Oh, yes.
And then May the 4th be with you.
We'll be with you.
We will be with you on May the 4th. So definitely check us out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave everybody suspense as Johnny leaves me in suspense. So there you go. All right. Take care, everyone. And as John said, like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know, as well as our friends at Zoom as well, and as our manufacturer friends out there. Let them know how much you love our content. And of course, we're here every Friday, as John said, at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. So until then, take care, everyone, and have a great week, and have a great weekend.
I think he meant 9 a.m. Pacific, but never mind.
Oh, I did indeed. Sorry, everybody. Enjoy.
Lights go up and the cameras roll. Voices clear and we're in control. Screens are live and the signals flow. Welcome to the place where the pros all go. Talking gear and the tools we trust. What works well and what gathers dust. From the studio floor to the online stage, we bring the knowledge page by page. Live or hybrid, in room or remote. Every shot and every note. Better systems, sharper sound. This is where the best is found. It's the Protection Professionals Power Hour. Building better shows with skill and power. Live hybrid, online too. Sharing what the experts do. Hardware, software, tested live. Helping every production thrive. Step inside, the future's now. Welcome to the Power Hour. Switches, streaming, mics and light, making every moment land just right. Guests and makers join the conversation, bringing insight, crafting innovation. From the first idea to the final frame, every tool can change the game. Manufacturers, pros and brands, sharing real solutions firsthand. Live or hybrid, room or remote. Every cue and every note. Smarter workflow, stronger shows. That's the way the power grows. Ooh.